Welcome to 30-Minute Reviews. I am Adam. Okay, so this is a story that I'm going to be honest, I said I was going to talk about. Didn't necessarily want to, because just quite honestly, I'm tired. I'm so tired. It's exhausting, is what it is. And quite honestly, I didn't want to have to, dedicate the time to go somewhere and record this. So quite honestly, I'm just going to record it while I drive to work. Because, don't really, what's the one I'm looking for? Don't want to devote the effort into this story. Because it's just a symptom. It's a symptom of a larger issue at DC and Warner Brothers and all of that, all of that cabal over there. And it's just, just another, piece of that. And what I'm talking about, of course, is Ben Affleck will be reprising his role as Batman from Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad and what was the other one? Justice League and the Snyder Cut and all of that good stuff. He'll be reprising his role in Flashpoint. For those of you keeping score at home, that means there are now two Batmen in the Flashpoint movie. Now, almost from the beginning, I was against using Flashpoint as the first Flash movie, because it's kind of like you don't really jump in the Flashpoint, because the point of that is that Barry has been a hero, and I think that what they've done in the CW kind of works. Flashpoint comes as a result of his lowest point, where he has, like, on the CW when they did Flashpoint opened Season 3. Season 2 had Zoom kill his father, and at the end of Season 1 he did the right thing and did not save his mother's life when he could have. So it makes sense. Like, logically you can see why he would do that. That's a human thing to do. And ultimately letting the Reverse Flash kill his mother and right the universe to an extent is the right thing for him to do, because in the comic there's whole other repercussions. A global event happens, and in the show everyone's just kind of slightly better off, but Wally died, so he's like, alright, we gotta redo this. Either way, I feel that this is I don't think Flashpoint's a movie you open up on. I don't. That said, you already have Keaton coming back as the Flashpoint Batman. You could have had Jeffrey Dean Morgan reprise as Thomas Wayne, which would have been awesome. But no, they went with Michael Keaton. And I understand why. It's marketable. And I'm looking at this. Now, this is what Andy Muschietti wanted. And he wanted to have all these Batmen in the movie, in his Flashpoint movie. Then I'm less annoyed by it. But the people who are praising Affleck being in this movie, the Snyder fans who are praising Affleck being in this movie and are excited that Affleck is in this movie, are the same ones who criticize Marvel for doing, quote, movies by committee. And if you look at the origin movies that Marvel's done, their origin movies don't really lump into the larger universe. They don't sit there and, force it in, and it's like, you get what I'm saying, where it's like, Guardians of the Galaxy has one character returning, and it's Thanos, who had one appearance at the post-credit scene of the Avengers, and that, I wouldn't even really count that. Like, Spider-Man has Iron Man in it, but he's got 20 minutes of screen time across the entire movie, and he's there at the request of Sony, not the request of Marvel, who's, Sony wanted him there, so they put him there. Captain Marvel has Nick Fury there, but it's not in a way that's obtrusive. This feels like we're taking away time from what should be the Flash's biggest, most emotional story. because it's him coming to terms and reconciling with his mother's death, and how his mother's death comes because of who he is and because of the hero he is, and how he has to reconcile that fact and come to terms with it. And that feels like it's to take a back seat almost to the Batman who are going to be in the movie. And look, I get it. Batman is everywhere. And that's my problem with this, is that Batman is fucking everywhere. We don't need Batman in every single thing. Because take a look at what DC has going right now. There are 2 major events from DC Comics right now. There's 3 Jokers, which is a Batman event, and then there's Dark Knight's Death Metal, which is also a Batman event. It may have an anti-crisis, or whatever the hell they're calling the crisis in this, but it's still a Batman event at the core. Because it's about the Dark Multiverse, which is very Batman-centric, and despite the fact that I've done this rant before. I did this rant last week, where the Dark Multiverse had that cool series, Tales from the Dark Multiverse, with this whole, twisted take on the Justice League, and then they decided, let's not do that. Let's go back to the Batman. And it's like, who cares? And then it's like, and now the person in charge is Dr. Manhattan fused with Batman Who Laughs. Okay, cool. Then if you go to the video game side, well, we have the Lego games have been focused around Batman and his villains. Then you have the when they ever do another one, I feel like it's going to be a very Batman and Joker-centric Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's going to be the 5th one. They're going to have, revealed tomorrow, allegedly, is Court of Owls, a Batman game coming from WB Montreal. There's a Batman game, there's a Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, which appears to be mostly Batman characters in the Rogues Gallery who are making up the Suicide Squad. And then on top of it, they get to fight every single Justice League member, beat the crap out of them, kill them in many cases, take them hostage in others, except for Batman. Again, that's based on one rumor that I read online. I don't know how accurate it is. Then there is, in live action, we have Robert Pattinson playing Batman in his own standalone movie. We have Michael Keaton reprising here. We have the Snyder Cut, which is very Batman-centric, because Batman's a major role in that movie. We have Affleck reprising his role. Titans has a Batman, has a Bruce Wayne. We don't know if he's going to ever suit up or we're going to see him back as Batman, but we have a Bruce Wayne in Titans starting in Season 2. And Season 1 ended with the reveal that Bruce Wayne is still alive, or Bruce Wayne's face is going to be worn by Mouse at the end of Batwoman. It's like, enough. One entire episode of Crisis on Infinite Earths was one of the major plots was coming to terms with this evil Batman, played by Kevin Conroy. We don't need all this Batman. I'm tired of Batman. And this is what the problem is we're having 2 of them in the Flash movie, and this is not even the way it starts. Because here's the thing about the Flash movie. I said this about Batman v Superman before it came out. In Batman v Superman, there are a lot of questions that you need to ask, including, and Justice League 2 to an extent, about characters and why they're there. And if you look at the Avengers, you don't really have that question, because they had a movie to set up each one before that point. With, let's use Justice League as the example. With Justice League, Steppenwolf has a lot of ground to cover to explain who he is and why he is there. And you don't really... And this is going to be a similar question here with the Reverse Flash. And, why is this happening? That's going to be a big key point of this. Why is this happening? Who is this? And what are we doing about it? And that's not going to be addressed, I don't think, in a way that's meaningful, and it's going to hurt the movie overall. So we'll be back with DC Fandom news on Sunday. And until then, have a great rest of your weekend.